Good morning. Right now, Canadians are lined up in the cold, waiting for what they hope will be some hot deals. Black Friday is becoming this country's go-for-it shopping day, more popular now than Boxing Day for most consumers. Even with Ottawa now ready to end the postal strike, the threat of more mail disruptions and delays is pushing some shoppers offline and into stores.
Because of the strike, I may not be able to get my parcels in time. There will be a lot of delays, and I would prefer coming into the real store and get it right away.
Whether the businesses are bricks and mortar or online only, Black Friday can be make or break, a potential boost for sales that may have dragged down during the postal strike.
It doesn't make me feel good at all. You know, I'm losing customers because of it. Sales are going down because of Canada Post.
As far as our pre-Christmas orders, we're probably down 90% because there's no catalog out there working for us, and the confidence of the Canadian consumers as far as delivery is very low.
But hearing from businesses, from Canadians right across the country, particularly as we approach the holiday season, who are really feeling negative impacts of this, means that while we are continuing to hold out hope that there's going to be a settlement or an agreement at the bargaining table, we also have to do what's responsible and prepare for the possible need for legislation.
So let's start right there with the Trudeau government taking a big step toward legislating an end to the strike by Canada Post workers. Katie Simpson leads off for us this morning.
So this is puddings, Christmas puddings.
These presents may just make it under the Christmas tree after all. As the owner of two specialty shops, Michael Cox uses Canada Post to ship products to his customers and welcomes the Liberals' step toward passing back-to-work legislation.
Christmas can always be saved if people want to save it.
The Liberals have now started a process to fast-track a bill which, if passed, could force mail carriers to return to the job in a matter of days. It comes after 5 weeks of rotating strikes and little progress at the negotiating table.
The two parties continue to negotiate with a mediator, but having said that, we need to be ready to act if they can't reach an agreement.
The move triggered even more frustration on the picket line.
I know that the public generally feels that at this point we're probably ruining Christmas. That's not the case at all. Forcing us back, yeah, we're just going back to the same horrible working conditions in the busiest time of year. We're going to be overburdened. There's going to be injuries.
Negotiators can't find common ground on working conditions, safety protections, and wages. The union's president says he is outraged but not surprised.
Canada Post only has one game. It's to sit back and wait for legislation. And now the government is doing their dirty work.
Canada Post employees have been legislated back to work before, in 2011 under the Conservatives and in 1997 under the Liberals. It's a risky move that can lead to resentment on all sides, according to this professor.
Over the longer term, if you continue to resolve your disputes through the use of arbitrators, avoid making some of the tendency to avoid making some of the tough decisions.
Even if back-to-work legislation is brought in within days, the Postal Workers Union isn't ruling out any options when it comes to their response, including new possible work-to-rule actions. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Ottawa.
So let's talk more with Scott about how the postal strike may be driving sales on Black Friday today. A couple of ads that I couldn't help but notice, Scott, that really illustrate that point. Look at these together with me. This is from Hudson Bay, and you see as you take a look, shop online, pick up in store. Right. So that gets around the threat of a mail disruption. And this too, if you look to the Winners chain and Marshalls and their company, offline shopping. They're boosting and talking about the offline shopping experience, getting into the store, driving foot traffic.
And this is probably an unintended consequence of what Canada Post originally wanted. And imagine after years and years of us more and more, you know, this big U.S. holiday, Black Friday, and Canadians more and more taking advantage of it. This year, we're getting a pushback saying, wait a minute, question what you're doing. And the premise here is we're going to see more traffic in the bricks and mortar stores of exactly this. Retailers taking taking advantage of that. So the premise is we're seeing that from Leon's, the Brick, Stores, Winners, you name it. They're saying they're offering in-store delivery, getting around the mystery of whether we're going to get our packages in time by Canada Post. And we're hearing this anecdotally from a variety of Chamber of Commerce from local cities across Canada. Sudbury, for example, say that there is more buying. People are going more into the bricks and mortar stores as a consequence of just simply not knowing when Canada Post will be able to deliver the mail. And there's all these reports of 1.7 million packages undelivered. So lots of questions. And so it'll be interesting to watch what's happening here.
Well, it's an opportunity, is it not, for these bricks and mortar stores, which have been eroded by the online business. And here's a chance to take some of it back. And they're trying to really take advantage of it on this particular year. You talked about just how big it's become. And there are lots of numbers that show this is not just an American phenomenon anymore. This is Canada's big shopping time.
Well, we are neighbors, and like it or not, we hear a lot of what they're talking about, and they are great promoters. That's, you know, bar none. So more Canadians now are interested in shopping Black Friday than on Boxing Day, which intuitively doesn't make any sense to me, but that's not up to me. That's up to the numbers. Take a look at this number here, that 40% of Canadians say that they are going to take advantage of something today. This is according to the Retail Council of Canada. And that's versus only 25% shopping on Boxing Day, which is a traditional Canadian time to take advantage of those sales. The same survey says almost 90% of Canadians say it's important to support Canadian retailers this holiday in particular. So that's going to be interesting to watch next week when we start getting some hard data as far as what Canadians are doing, if there's a pushback. And so we'll watch for that, and we'll watch for the hard data and to see if this is in fact good for the bricks and mortar stores.
Big day.
Yeah.
Boxing Day is a British phenomenon, and they're taking part in Black Friday as well. It's become a bit of a global thing, obviously. Thank you. We'll have lots more to talk about on this over the course of the morning.